Hi everyone, my name is Rohit Nambishan. I am doing this tutorial as part of the third homework in CSC 519 DevOps course at NC State. My Unity ID is RNAMBIS. So in this homework is basically about queues and implementing cache routing, etc. So initially, to set up this project, clone this repository, and if Redis is already installed, then leave it. Otherwise, install Redis and run on localhost 6379. So right now I have already installed Redis, so now I'm going to run Redis server. So now it's running and it's now listening to the port 6379. So in this assignment, I have completed the assignment in total of like 4 tasks. So the first task was to complete set and get. To show you how set and get was implemented, first I would like you to run through the code. So in this, I have already created a route called get and similarly set. So in set, basically what happens is like a client, a key called key is already created, which is a global. This key is a global variable which is already been defined as key. So I initialize that value, that key, with the value 10 seconds, and it expires in 10 it expires in 10 seconds. So when set route is called, a value is pushed to the key into the Redis server for a value for a key called key, and it expires in 10 seconds, and an output is printed in the browser saying it expires in 10 seconds. So that is set. And similarly, get is this route is get. So when route get is hit, it executes this function in which it gets the value, the corresponding value for that key. And what it sees, if it's an error, it means that there is no key, so no key found. Else, if there is a value, I print out that value into the URL and also send the key found no value. If there is no value, then I send back key found no value. So let's see how this thing works. So for that, first I'm going to run node main.js. So you can see that it is listening at port 3000 at localhost. So we'll go in there, localhost, yeah, set. So when I set, it gives automatically got print 10 seconds. Now if I get the value, you can see 10 seconds. So now if I reload after like 10 seconds, it gives out key found, no value. Key is there, but no value is there. So that expired in 10 seconds. Okay, now I would like to show the next task is to complete recent route. Recent route is basically, it prints out the last 5 URLs visited. So for that, what I did was like I created a hash key called URLs inside app.use, and whenever a URL was hit, I pushed it into that list, into that URLs list. So this is that line. Here the request URL is saved to this particular URL, and in recent I basically read the last 5, 0 to 4, index from 0 to 4, which will give me the top 5, the last recent 5 URLs that has been visited. So if it prints out error, I throw error, else I just print it out in a loop. So for that, you could see I have already executed 3 commands. Now I'll give 3 more commands just to show you how this thing works. So I use another set and I use another get, and when recent is called, it will be the 6th one. So I'll give out now recent. So when I give out recent, you can see recent, get, set, get, recent, get, set, get. So that is also not working. Now I would like to show the next task is to complete upload and meow. In upload and meow, basically what happens is that upload is a post command, is a post route. So you cannot access it through the URL, which is you have to, from URL we only do get operations. So for post operations, basically we use curl command in Linux to send a data to that particular route. So for the command for that is basically curl -f image @image morning.jpg. Upload. If you give to this URL, you upload that image. So it's basically these images are loaded from this folder inside the repository. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to use icecream.jpg. So I'll first walk you through the code of upload. Okay, in upload, basically you can see that they take the image, they convert it to buffer data, and then save it to a list called cats. So basically here also cats is a hash key used, which I use to save the image in the Redis. So in meow, what I basically do is I read out from cats and print out the data in HTML format. So that's what you can see, cat L range of cats, 0, 0, where I'll read out the first element from cats and just print out the data. So we can now see how it works. So initially I'm going to copy this command. Sorry. And I'm going to print it. I'm going to post it. So for this purpose, I'm using ice cream. If this is a default morning.jpg, for this one, I'm using icecream.jpg. So you can see now the curl command has been done. It is being printed. This printout of data is the buffer data, which happened because of that. Now I'm going to access it from the URL through meow. Now you can see the image has been posted. So that's basically how upload and meow works. Now for the next task is caching and catfact route. Here I have implemented two new routes called catfact : and actually I used toggle instead of toggle cache feature. So in that you can see toggle cache feature is something is used to on and off the cache operations. So for me, the first thing that came into my mind was an electric switch. So what I implemented was, instead of giving like /toggle free cache feature /true, whenever toggle cache feature is given, it checks the state of that toggle, that cache key that I have used, which is which I used a T. Whether its value is 1 or 0. So if it is 1, it changes to 0. If it's 0, it changes it to 1. So initially when the application is run, I initially set the toggle value as 1, because even if you don't give toggle cache feature, I guess the caching and routing should happen. So that's why initially I gave it as 1. Then you can see the toggle cache feature, toggle route. Here you can see it gets the value from T, checks if it's 1, sets to 0, gives a output saying cache is off, else it sets T to 1 and sends an output saying the cache is on. So that's what toggling does. So in catfact, how it works, so I can show you how toggling works. So currently I'm going to give toggle. You can see now cache became off because initially cache was on. Now if I give it again, cache became on. If I give it again, cache became off. If I give it again, cache becomes on. Similarly, in catfact, what happens is that I initially read the value of toggle and see if its value is 1, because it can never be error, because I am always setting it as 1 from the script. So I'm not checking that error part, because always that key will be there. So if value is equal to 1, then client.get line number, then I write to. So if value is 1, then it is caching is on. So if cache is on, then I always checks from the get line. So As part of this assignment, we also need to measure the time taken for both caching and disk access. So for disk access, what I did was for calculating the time, I used a package in JavaScript called Perfy. Using Perfy, I recorded times before and after getLine operation, calling of the function getLine, which will get me the time taken to read from the disk. And similarly, if data in this condition validates that a value is being returned from the get command, so then there is a hash values there. So what I do, I copy that into a temporary file, and before and after I record the time and sense it back. Similarly is done for all other alternative cases where getLine is being called. In the else part of toggle, there's no need to check for caching. Caching is totally off, so it always goes into disk and reads the data. So I do that. So that's it. Now I'd like to show you how it's working. So now currently the cache is on. So now I'm going to cat fact 15. Excuse me, cat fact 15. See, you can see disk base to 0.1 millisecond, and if I run it again, hash became 0 seconds. Similarly, now I'm going to run it again. Disk base again becomes, this time what happens is 10 seconds passed, and now there's no line inside hash. So what happened is, like, it again read from the disk. But why we got a 0 seconds is because it got cached into the in the memory cache that is already been is there in the Linux system. So the line is already being cached in over there. So that's why we again got a 0 millisecond time. So now I'm going to show you how it acts when the toggle is off. So now the cache is off. Now I'm going to do another cat fact. In here I'm going to use 18. You can see it failed. It again now it's always accesses from the disk only. How much ever time I reload, it always accesses from a disk. So to summarize, before summarizing, I'll again show you how the hashing worked. So again I go toggle, the cache is on. Now I do cat fact of 2, cat fact colon 2. This time disk again it started calling from hash. If I wait for 10 seconds, now the value is lost from the hash. So again, if I try, it starts from disk. So that's it. That summarizes the assignment. The conceptual questions will be provided in the README. Thank you.